Good evening. I'm Constance Starkey, and this is Eye on the Issues. We're going to take a little departure from our usual format for this program. Instead of one expert and a panel of citizens, we have with us a panel of expert citizens that I will be interviewing this evening. This show will air in January, in the midst of the season of brotherly love and goodwill, the season for giving and caring and connecting with our neighbors, our communities, our state, our country, our world. The three people who are here with me tonight are extraordinary in that they have devoted their time and energy, their very lives, to causes they believe in, causes they believe will help create a better world for all of us. Our first guest is Mr. George Corbin. Mr. Corbin comes to us from a long-time career as a Director of Learning and Development for the State Farm Insurance Company. He's a human resources professional and was an outplacement and career development consultant for the Human Capital Group of Safarian. But Mr. Corbin's passion and why he's here with us tonight is his involvement with the Ventura County Martin Luther King National Memorial Fundraising Steering Committee, and we'll be discussing that with him shortly. George, welcome to Eye on the Issues.
Thank you.
Our second guest is Mrs. Jane Bright. When Jane's son, Sergeant Evan Ashcraft, was killed in an ambush in Iraq on July 24, 2003, she and her husband Jim founded the Evan Ashcraft Memorial Foundation in his memory. The reasons for setting up the foundation were twofold. Evan was the 249th soldier killed in Iraq in the Iraq conflict, and Jane didn't want her son to be just a number. The other reason for establishing the foundation was to carry out her son's wishes. In many letters and phone calls home, Evan had often said that, "When I come home from Iraq, I just want to help people." So Jane, thank you for joining us this evening.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Our last guest is a global phenomenon. When Jessica Riendeau was 21 years old, she went to India. She was so moved by the poverty and suffering of the children that she saw there, she declared that one day she would build an orphanage. And she did, and although it has not been an easy journey. In 1997, she applied to the Indian government to establish an orphanage, and in 2004, she finally received the government's approval. The doors will open this June, and we are very interested in hearing her story. Jessica, welcome.
Thank you.
George, okay, let's start with you. As I said, you're involved with the Martin Luther King Memorial Fundraising Steering Committee. Can you tell us a little bit about your committee and explain to us what your goals are?
Sure. First of all, as a member of Alpha Phi Alpha, the oldest predominantly black fraternity, this was one of the key factors in focusing on the memorial here in Ventura County, because we have a graduate chapter and Dr. King was a member of our fraternity. We formed a committee made up of community leaders and business leaders earlier this year, and we said, wouldn't it be great for Ventura County to make a real impact to a great world leader, not a black leader, not just a great American, but a great world leader. And we were particularly moved in terms of Dr. King having moved the spirit of America closer to the intent of the Constitution. This is what's driving that. Mm-hmm. So here in Ventura County, our goal was to do two things. One, have a kickoff dinner, very successful dinner, at the Hyatt February 15th, 2007. Formal. Coach Wooden is one of our honorary chairs and is lending his cachet and name to this event. And the other is to get corporate contributions for companies here in the Ventura County area, also including Calabasas and Agora, so forth. Mm-hmm. So we are energizing the community to say, let's do this.
And this is for the construction of a memorial. Where is that memorial going to be?
That memorial is, by the way, it's the National Memorial in Washington, D.C., on the Tidal Basin. Mm-hmm. You'll be able to see both the Lincoln Memorial and look one way and then look the other way. You see our other major monument. This memorial was designed. There was an international competition won by a San Francisco firm, and the result, which you'll see shortly, is this beautiful memorial design, and the groundbreaking occurred November 13th.
Really?
With President Bush, President Clinton, members of Congress, and others. So our goal is to contribute to getting this fully funded, so in 2008 we can go into Washington, D.C. and see this beautiful monument to Dr. King.
Oh, great. I believe that we have actually an aerial photograph. Can we show that? Wait, okay. All right. Great. Can you explain to us what we're seeing here? Is this is where the memorial actually is, or
this is the design what you're looking at right now. As you can see, it looks like a series of gardens. As I mentioned, it's designed to be a place of peaceful reflection, reflecting Dr. King's nonviolence stance for social justice and change.
How did this project get started? Who initiated it?
Well, I was one of the principals, along with a woman named Dorothy Webster. I gave a speech last year, and she came up with some other people and said, why don't we do more than just send individual contributions?
Great. We all know that Dr. King was a tremendous presence and influence on the country. How would you say his influence has been most felt here in Ventura County?
Well, here in Ventura County, when you think of our community of universities, the educational, the faith-based community, civic organizations, and quite a few businesses, as there was this perception that perhaps Dr. King's memorial and his legacy didn't resonate as greatly in Ventura County as perhaps other areas. And our perception was, this is not quite what we're hearing and experiencing. And it was almost a challenge. He said, let's prove those perceptions wrong by having a very successful fundraiser. We'd like to raise $1 million over 18 months, actually.
Oh, that's great. So how should people, and we will be putting up websites and places to contact these people about their particular projects, but can you tell us briefly, would people be sending their contributions to you here, or would they be sending them in Washington?
What we would prefer, and you will see information we'll display as to where you can contribute directly. We've engaged, and our steering committee decided on the Venture Community Foundation as the proper repositor for our funds, because we want the focus on Ventura County.
Right. Exactly.
And the information, whether you want to make a direct contribution to the memorial, or you want to participate in the dinner, purchase a table, $1,500, or an individual seat for $150, or participate in some other way, you can contact me. I'm in the telephone book, George Corbin, Thousand Oaks.
Great.